go?
I am rolling on both.
All right.
One day.
One day.
One day I'll get you.
You already did it. Several of them.
My go-to move.
Can you move the mic a little closer? Oh.
Welcome to the Immersive Lens, the podcast exploring the technologies reshaping how we live, work, and learn.
From AI and virtual reality to creative media and design, we're diving into the tools and ideas shaping our connected world.
My name is Paul Engin. Join us as we uncover the people and ideas driving the next wave of interactive experiences.
And I'm Dave Ghidiu. This is the Immersive Lens.
So, Dave, I had a productive weekend. I got to play with some things, and one of the things I talked with an old colleague, and she was creating a video for her grandmother who's turning 80.
Okay.
And I've done something like this in the past. You know, you would ask people to shoot a little video, and then they would send it to you.
Is it like a memory or a happy birthday greeting? Okay.
And then you would put it all together. Well, apparently they've automated this so much that now it's just a web app that you literally just go to. It's called Viday, and you just have you register or whatever, and then it sends an invite like a regular e-invite, and then everyone can just go. You can leave a video message saying, "Hey, I'm doing this for my grandmother, this and that," and then can you leave a message, and they can use the webcam.
Oh, and then it stitches it together?
And it stitches it automatically, so they don't have to do anything. And it's just these little, she showed me the interface, and it was literally just like little thumbnails, and you can shift them around so you can put the different orders. And then I was like, oh my gosh, I just remember doing that all manually. Like people were sending me videos or text messages, and then I would have to put it together.
Yeah. So what does this, I mean, it must do something. So like your webcam, obviously the resolutions are different and the volume is different. So they're doing some normalization on the back end, right?
I think it's doing, and you can add some slight subtle effects and like,
oh my gosh.
It just got me thinking. We talk about low barrier, and you can't get much low barrier than that. These are people that are like, I mean, they're her mom's friends who are also in their 70s and 80s. Oh, yeah. So like, it's literally just clicking a link, watching a video of her saying, hey, can you do this? And then they click it.
And you could do that from a mobile phone too, I bet, right?
Oh, yeah.
Oh, my gosh.
Yeah. So I thought that was really interesting. And then on Friday, I had an opportunity to demo the MetaGlass display.
Tell me what that is.
So that is Meta's glasses that are augmented reality, where you get a little small display in the right eye.
Okay, and so it's not over the whole lens. It's like a corner of the upper right hand corner or something of that lens.
Yep.
Okay.
And then you put a wristband on for tracking of your hand gestures.
You were talking about that when we were talking about like Selfridge when you went to
England.
Okay. Yeah.
Yes. So, but with that, those were just the Meta glasses with the AI that I could just talk to. This is actually like with a display.
Oh, okay.
First of all, this process is crazy, but I know that it's an early adopter thing, but they only have it. You're not allowed to purchase it unless you do a demo first. So I had to find a place that had a demo, and it's nowhere near us. So I had to go do the demo, and then they did the demo on a black pair of glasses, and I said, oh cool, okay, I'll take this, thinking, okay, I'm leaving here with the glasses.
Yeah.
And he was like, oh no, these black ones aren't even shipping for several months. And I'm like, okay. He goes, but we can start shipping these beige ones now. And I'm like, I don't really care about the look.
Sure.
I'm looking at the functionality, but I was like, okay, so can I grab those now? And they're like, oh no, you're gonna get it. So I'm not even gonna get it for like several weeks.
Oh man.
But the experience was amazing. I put them on, and I did the quick thing, which was the live captioning. So
Sure. Okay.
I can see closed captioning
As people are talking?
As people are talking, and it's focus. So if I had multiple people talking, if I turn my head and I focus on you, it's captioning on your focus.
I kind of want those just to like navigate life.
Right. Well, and again, it's only going to get better. I mean, I just keep saying like but the crazy thing was I was able to make my hand in a fist like this and then use my thumb as a cursor. So I just go forward with my thumb. I skim it to the left or right.
So your thumb is basically like a mouse kind of.
Yeah. And I was navigating apps, and like I could go to music app and I could just, and then I would pinch my fingers to select it.
Much like on the Apple.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yep. And then it would just launch and I'd be listening to music, but you can't listen to it unless you're like right behind my ear. Like if you're back here.
Is it bone conduction?
Yeah. It's something
I love
with
bone conduction.
I was like, wait, you can't hear what I'm hearing? And he was like, no, I can't hear it. And I was like, this is crazy. And then it allowed you to do translation, obviously, if you needed to. But
sure,
he only knew English, the guy that was giving me.
So you could, if I was speaking, for instance, Spanish to you, the glasses would
translate.
Oh my gosh.
Yeah.
Now you've been very like secretive and clandestine about this whole thing. So it was like at a remote location that's not close to here. And
well, I could tell you what it was if you want.
I'm more curious. Like, is the price palatable?
No, not right now. Okay. Not right now.
Okay.
But you know what it'll be is I think it'll be good that you and I can like look at it, see the usability of it, see the feasibility of it. I think there's a lot to it. I think there's a future in this 100%. I won't need to get when I have these glasses on, I won't need my phone.
I am betting dollars to donuts that the reason you have to have like an audition or an interview before you can buy them is because the Apple headset, a lot of people return those because maybe they didn't understand all the features. So like you kind of went through this training, this onboarding. Mm-hmm. And so now you see the value and you're like, oh, okay, like I get what I'm buying. Right. So you're less likely to return them. Yeah,
I could see that. I mean, you could turn the display off too, and it could just be audio too. So I could be like, hey Meta, what's the blah, 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 blah. And it would tell me and it could talk and I could have a dialogue with it. Just like I did like the one in London when I used that.
Yeah. And so I have bone conduction headphones and that's all I use anymore. I don't use buds or anything like that because I like hearing the outside world, but also there's nothing in my ear. So it sounds like I would just use those in lieu of those at the very least, right?
Right, exactly. So I think that there's so much potential once we get it and I get to play with more of the apps. The other thing that the version they didn't have was they had a handwriting. So you could, if I wanted to write something, I could just pull out my left hand and then with my right hand, I can literally just pretend like I'm writing.
Oh, that's awesome.
Whatever.
And you one of your predictions in an early episode already came true when you're like, we're not going to need these special bracelets. Like it will just be a watch band. And I just read an article that said like, that's what they're doing now. So
yeah, that was crazy.
So big tech, come recruit Paul. He's got the vision.
Well, it's just a natural, and with the Apple Watches, they're interchangeable. So you can just slide in and out. I'm like, well, rather than wearing this, I'm surprised Meta doesn't. Well,
they will.
Give something for Apple or someone will.
No, Meta will just have a Meta watch.
Yeah, that's true. Yeah. That's true.
So I have a few things that happened and I kind of just want to talk about.
Yeah.
One is because we're hot off the heels of the OpenClaw episode.
Yeah.
And so OpenClaw is just a reminder, is like this fully autonomous like AI bot that you can unleash on your computer and will have unfettered access to everything you do. And the head of Meta's AI alignment, the director of Meta's AI alignment, had it on her computer. And despite repeated commands to stop, it erased every email in her mailbox and went through the trash and like ultra deleted it and then apologized like, yep, you definitely told me not to do that. And I did it. I'm super sorry. So that's just a cautionary tale.
Oh my gosh. Yeah. Well, you know what? We're going to come back to that in a minute for something else. But
okay. And but I just want to say, kind kind of like how I spend my weekend. I was one of my buddies, Aaron, he's a doctor in one of the local emergency departments, and his kids were in this wrestling match. He's like, hey, Dave, do you want to come watch my kids wrestle? I was like, yeah, sure. So we were there, and we were only there for maybe an hour. And he was like, you know what? I have this idea for an app. Can I bounce it off you? It was basically, he wanted to train people how to use like an EKG. And, there's like the the things that you see on like every month. And it has like, that's the one. And it has like the EKG, and then it has like the pulse ox and like the blood pressure and all that stuff. So he's like, I have a monitor and this is what I want it to look like. Can we make a web app so that I can go to the web app and get a special link where I can control it, and then someone else gets just the display, so they just see the spiky graph thing and the vitals. I was like, yep. So in under an hour, we made that happen and I know I talk about vibe coding, but I've upped my game and I'm now using Claude Code, which sits inside an IDE, and an IDE is a super nerdy thing you see on TV whenever people are like programming, and historically is like it's just us clacking our keyboards and like writing code. Right. But now there's kind of two panes, the code, and then adjacent to that is Claude, which is so it like lives right in that IDE, and I can be like, I want an EKG app that does this, and the prompt was actually quite lengthy.
Yeah,
and the first delivery, boom, it worked out of the box. And then we spent some time tweaking it. And like, this is something I never would have done because A, I never would have dreamed it up. And B, even if I made this, I have no idea, like, is this realistic? Is this working? Like, I don't know what any of this is. But because I was working with a subject matter expert, Aaron was like, you know what? Like, and he used all these terms, so I will not do the conversation justice, but he was like, we need to have like the deflection of the PQRST or whatever that is. And I was like, I don't know what you're saying, but like I typed it into Claude and Claude knew, and we were able to together kind of navigate this. And he's like, I don't know the web technology. So I was like, well, it's PHP because we need server side. And he's like, see, that's the stuff I don't have. So this is just another reaffirming notion that, or reaffirming thought and experience that what we're doing with vibe coding here at the college, because we have a vibe coding course, like this is where we need to be, because this is like, you can't do it yourself as a vibe coder, and you can't do it yourself as someone who knows nothing about web technologies. But together, boy, oh boy, it's really, really cool.
And I just saw the app, and it is really, really cool. The simple fact that you can
tell them about the phone.
Yeah, Dave took the phone. He had a QR code on the screen. He took a picture of it. And then he basically had like the instructor station so he could determine the different levels of heart, and I don't know any of the terms, so I'm just gonna say heart rate for lack of my knowledge. And so it was increasing, and then there's a certain time when you can shock it depending on the heart rate. So he's controlling basically what the patient is.
The vitals, the
vitals. And I was like, this is brilliant. How many places could use this? And so you could do it live. So he could say, oh, they're about to flatline. I'm going to flatline them, and then see if they know where to shock or when to shock.
Yeah, and so this is my last episode because I'm going to break out and do a med tech company using AI apps. So bye, everyone. It's been fun.
Awesome.
Yeah, so it was really fun. And I do have 2 errata. I was binging our episodes over the weekend. And one, I accidentally said Joseph Conrad when I meant to say Joseph Campbell, talking about the hero's journey.
Oh, okay.
And then also I was talking about how Notebook LM, I think, has I call them disjunctions, like the and the in the podcasts. And it's really called disfluency. My brother, I have a twin brother who's a software engineer. He's like, Dave, you're an idiot. It's a disfluency.
Man, calling you out like that.
I know. So we have had some fan mail, and we've had my brother
telling you that you're great.
Yes, tell me that I'm great. All right, so what do we talk about today?
So today we're going to talk about, well, actually, do we want to talk about what happened with Anthropic CEO?
Yeah. So give us the high altitude version of, to anchor this is the March 2nd. So we're talking about the events around like February 26th to March 1st.
Right. So Claude right now, Anthropic has a AI LLM that's called Claude, and they already are implemented into the government. So they created a custom version of Claude specifically for the government.
And this is for classified missions too, right? Like the Maduro Venezuela thing was
everything. Yep. Yeah. They're from administration to, they had tons of different applications. But this past week, they gave them like a 3-day deadline or something to adhered to two things that they weren't agreeing on. So they basically agreed to 98 to 98. He says,
you're talking about Dario Amodei.
Yeah, Dario, the CEO, told interview, I think it was with CBS, that they agreed to 98 to 99% of all the use cases that the Pentagon wanted, but they didn't agree to two. And the two were mass surveillance of American citizens and full autonomous weapons.
So that's like drones that will go around and like kill targets without human intervention.
Right. Okay. It just makes the assessment itself and it does it. And it was really interesting because what the Pentagon wanted is for them to remove these two guardrails. And Dario basically said that he feels that the surveillance on American citizens kind of breaks the democratic values that we're trying to represent, and which is it's good. It's an ideology that I think is important. But I think the other thing he mentioned, and this goes to the autonomous weapons, is that the technology is not there yet. And he alludes to kind of like, think about the hallucinations and things that happen just when we're doing things that aren't like
making up citations.
Yeah. Right. So the systems aren't there yet to say that there shouldn't be human intervention, because it could hallucinate something while it's actively, if it's in an autonomous drone, attacking a school, thinking that it is. Yeah. It sees a lot of people moving around in and out, and maybe it thinks that like there's all these factors that, and I'm simplifying it, but you just never know what it will do yet. So it's not there yet. And that's where his point was. In the future, it might be, and they might be open to it, but it's not ready right now.
Yeah, and I think back to all the huge like errors where it's lied about citations or can't even do math very easily. And I'm like, oh, really? We're going to allow it to fly autonomously into like a war zone and make those types of decisions?
Right. I mean, I think about even when we were doing ChatGPT and I was like, hey, can you do this? And they're like, no, we can't do this. We can't do this. And I say, but you just announced you can do it. Oh, yes, you're right. We did just announce we can do it, but I can't do it. I'm like, okay.
And it makes me think of like when Chat GPT 5.1 or 5.2 came out, they were talking about M dashes because that's like the latest like rage. And Sam Altman was like, M dashes will no longer appear. And even if you told ChatGPT like that week, like no M dashes, would be like, okay. And then the next thing you know, you're getting M dashes. I'm like, if you can't control the M dash, like you should not be flying a plane.
Right. So, regardless of what you think about it, I thought it was a great stance for an organization that really has these strong beliefs.
Yeah, and their PR people must be just so ecstatic because this is hot off the heels of the Super Bowl where the Anthropic Claude ads were poking a lot of fun at OpenAI because of like ads coming in.
Well, it wasn't directly at OpenAI. Yeah. It was, just a coincidence.
All the other AI companies have ads in them. And so like now this is in OpenAI, Claude Anthropic was founded by people who kind of like splintered off of OpenAI because they didn't believe in the ethics that were happening then. So this is like 5 years ago. So this is just, I think, a great testament to the ethos of Claude and Anthropic and everyone there. So good for them. Good on them.
Yep. We'll see what happens. I'm sure it's something we'll talk about.
And I think that leads into today because OpenAI quickly kind of like sees the opportunity like, okay, government, we'll be your LLM of choice.
Yes.
And they are. Okay.
So as of right now. Yeah. So I figure what we'll do is we'll kick off a series of our top frontier models and kind of...
A series?
Yeah.
This is our first series.
Our first series.
Jeff, do we have any theme music for the series?
I'll get right on it.
All right. So we do. We have theme music for this series.
So, the Peaky Blinders.
We're doing the watch parties.
Yeah.
So this is season 1, episode 2 of Peaky Blinders.
Yes. So the series the frontier model we were going to talk about today is going to be OpenAI.
And the frontier model is basically, this is going to be a bit of an abstraction, but it's when we talk about LLMs or like chatbots or like services that people pay for, the frontier models would be Gemini, ChatGPT, Claude, Perplexity, Meta. So we'll be looking at some of those.
Yep, absolutely.
And so Frontier basically means like these are bleeding edge, cutting edge, high compute time. They're doing all the work.
Yes, and they're the most dominant ones right now that we can think of. And there's a lot of smaller LLMs out there, but these are the ones that kind of are building and branching, and they're moving away just from a chat bot. So those are the things that we'll talk about today.
Okay. Yeah.
So I guess the first thing that everyone's most familiar with is obviously the chat itself, right? The Chat GPT, and that is just a standard prompt, and it's both online and it's an app that you can download. And for everything we talk about today, for the most part, there is a just web browser based login, or you can download an app on your device, both on mobile and on your computer, and run it locally. And it's interesting because you have a different take on this.
I do. I prefer web apps, so I never install software on my computers. It's a vector of attack. It's just one more thing to maintain. It makes things go slower. And the biggest thing is because you don't always have the latest and greatest version. Whereas if you go to the website, they're always serving you the latest version. So that's just my nerd position.
And I ran into that this weekend when we started talking about that. And, I might be pivoting to that. Although it's interesting because they always say download the app so you can do more.
Yes, but that evidently is not always true. The other thing is like with Chrome and presumably other browsers, you can turn a website into an app. So that becomes a web app that acts as an app.
All right. That's like Inception.
Yeah.
Say that again.
You can take a web page and turn it into a web app. So then you get the little icon down in the sys tray.
Oh, yes.
And you get native functionality. So keyboard commands that would normally, like Control P, for instance, in Chrome prints. But if you turn it into a web app, if Control P has a different function, then it's overridden. Is overriding the print function. Will do whatever that app wants.
Got ya.
But that's a conversation for another day.
So obviously there's the standard prompt, and that prompt can do a lot of things, and I think most people are familiar with it. And so I was thinking what we could do is we could talk about some of the other derivatives of that GPT chat.
So when we say GPT chat, we're talking about like ask it questions, get responses, generate images, that kind of stuff.
Yeah.
Yeah. So those are like table stakes across like all these frontier models.
Yeah.
And they're all good.
They're all good. They are. And it's funny. I think it's being commoditized as like, all right, well, I don't know the different. You could do Gemini. You could do, it's a weird.
And for a while, there really was differentiation. But now all the image generators, for the most part, I mean, Google actually just dropped Nano Banana 2. But generally speaking, they will all get you where you need to go. So the differentiation now is in kind of these auxiliary services and the other things that these models can do.
Yes. And so with all these models too, you have the option of obviously doing a long thinking, a shorter thinking. There's premium purchases. One of the things that I think is kind of nice about it is there is a temporary chat inside of I don't know if it's on the web. Is it on the web app too? The application, if you download ChatGPT, if you at the bottom, there's a little pull down. It's like right now it says 5.2, but if you click it, if you turn on temporary chat, that will create a something that won't store in history. They won't, supposedly it says, won't be used for training models. So they keep it around for 30 days and then it gets deleted. So it was an interesting little addition that, I mean, it's been there for a little bit, but I thought that was interesting for people who don't want to share content. I still don't think you should put confidential stuff in there, but
and Gemini and Claude also both have this like ghost mode or temporary chat
where they won't be trained on it either, right? Because I think there's also a distinction of tracking history and
and actually Claude by default, well, not by default anymore, but you can opt out to have all your conversations not trained on.
Oh
yeah, we'll get to that in another part of our series.
And it also gives you the option to search on the web or just within its own LLM model. So you have some additional triggers that you could do with it. The one thing that was interesting to me is that, we talk about having dialogue, and this is one of the things that you do regularly, but I wanted to have a dialogue with ChatGPT, so I hit the mic and I was like da 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 da, but it didn't talk back to me.
Yeah, it won't talk back. There might be a live mode in there. Like Gemini and Claude both have a live mode. I imagine ChatGPT does it. You might need to have it on the phone. I don't know if the computer has it. Okay.
Yeah, it is on the phone. The phone definitely has it, and you could talk to it, and you can have a dialogue back and forth. But this downloaded app does not, right? Which was interesting. And what's your take on this?
I prefer talking to LLMs.
Yeah.
Typing is for chumps, man. It just goes a lot faster. So if you can finagle it, and there are apps out there like Whisperflow, I think we talked about. And since we talked about it, it has been available for Android. So I started using it and I really like it. It doesn't solve that problem that you're talking about where it talks back to you. But I mean, in my car or when I'm walking the dogs, I'll have my headphones on. I can have conversations with Gemini and we can brainstorm things and talk about things, or I can just kind of like pick a topic and go down a rabbit hole. So,
yeah, I'm surprised though. I thought that because Copilot has it, and that's Microsoft's. And again, it's maybe another LLM we can look, but with Microsoft, I'm able to just click and have a dialogue. It can look at my screen. It could do more than I was really surprised at this. And I thought like that would be the benefit of downloading the app. So I'd have
so it can access all that information.
Yeah. But you were exploring AI agents, right? Creating agent builder.
The agent builder. So we're going to talk, I think, a little bit about like Atlas, Codex, and like part of the suite of like features. So the agent builder, an agent is kind of a squishy term in AI. Microsoft, for instance, says like chatbots are agents, which most people disagree with that. But agents typically, and Emily Laird, who's someone I follow in the space, is like, well, it has to have like 7 or more steps that it can do in a row. But if it can act on your behalf and accomplish multiple tasks to do a thing. So for instance, if you task an agent with scheduling a haircut and then dinner reservation, so it has to like look at your calendar, it has to see if you're available, it has to like figure out who you like getting your haircut by. So that is kind of the dream of being an agent. And I did look at the OpenAI agential workflow, the builder workflow. It is not something I would recommend to the faint of heart. It's it's somewhat complicated. It does cost money, not a lot. I mean, you pay per like token usage, and you can like I put $5 down to just kind of like play with it. But you need some technical know-how to kind of navigate it. And I showed you the left-hand screen, where it usually has like all the different tools, and you just scroll and scroll and scroll and scroll.
Yeah.
There's a lot going on there. So I don't think that's for people like you and me.
Yeah.
I think that's for like if our college hired someone to make agential workflows within the college, they'd have to really understand kind of how all the systems plug in and the APIs and hooks and all that stuff.
Yeah, and it looked like it was a node-based. So if you picture these little blocks, and there's different types of blocks, and you basically can connect one block to another block to another block. So
and it has a branching like true or false. Like should this person go to the next stage? So yeah, it's good, but I can't even imagine what I'd use it for in my personal life. Yeah,
and I think that's a big thing is understanding use cases for these. I know like they build. You hear these things where I'm going to build my marketing team. And it's like supposedly it's supposed to do all of these things that somebody would do in marketing, and I could see that to some extent, but they would have to have control over a lot of aspects. Like it's not just conceptual. It's like, okay, well, open up Adobe Express or Canva, and then create a blog, and then do a write up, and then do like it's not email campaign. It's not just like in a prompt, it's got to use other applications to do that.
Yeah, and that still makes me like, I really don't want to surrender my credentials to anyone. And I mean, look, I'll talk about the Meta AI, just deleted every email in her mailbox. So like, I'm not so sure I'm ready for this agential AI, but I think with supervision and with time, it's going to get a lot better. Yes. And I think it will, and it'll simplify it. Like even the video thing, think how simple it got, and so I think that is something that we should keep exploring, but figure out how it can be integrated. I think it'll be more meaningful. Yeah, and I think that we're actually seeing kind of an erosion of the line between agents and say regular LLM usage. Like Claude Code now kind of acts like an agent because it does multiple things. You give it a general task and it will do all these small tasks to do it, or Claude co-work. So we're starting to see the line is blurred where general AI usage is becoming like micro-agential. Yeah,
and we can kind of talk. Why don't we go into Codex?
What is Codex?
So Codex is and it's interesting because it's really the coding part of ChatGPT. So it focuses on coding, and it's a API that can be plugged into Visual Studio Code, or you use it on
Claude
GitHub.
Code. Yeah. Oh yeah.
GitHub. And so these are just applications. These are IDEs that you can, like, typically without the AI, that's what you would code in. So we would open up a coding window and we would just code, and you could test, and now it's integrated into it. So now Dave alluded to this when he did his coding, is you have your code window, you have your directory, code window, and then now you have your chat, and Codex is living in that chat. So,
and so you just type in the chat, and then the code window gets filled with the code that the chat.
Yep. Okay. And then you could do testing on it and all of that stuff.
Yeah. The debugging is really, really nice in making test cases, things like that. So Codex, and I think Codex is actually really slick, right? It's a good experience.
Yes, I had a really good experience. I did a web app that did analysis on the market, and it did different, more risky stocks versus safer stocks, and you can do an assessment over 1 or 2 years, and it's all live data. And again, this is where I had to get an API from a stock exchange that I could get the real time data, and then I had to plug that in. I mean, it told me what to do, but there was still that, like, if you're not familiar with like any of these terms we're talking right now.
Yeah, like API seems scary. Like, oh my gosh, that's like nothing. It's not hard. Like you go put your email and then you get the API, which is kind of like a key.
A big number.
Yeah, it's a big number.
It's a big number. You copy and paste in, and it's associated with your account with them. So
it's nice because it like walks you through those steps that even if you don't know what an API is or even where to get one or where to put it, once you get it, it kind of walks you through all that stuff.
Yep, absolutely. Okay. And then it's like little things that people might not know. The site has to be live. It has to be functioning. So like if you don't know, it'll tell you, oh, you have to do an Apache run, and it creates a local server, so then it can run the application. But if you don't know that, it'll tell you about it.
Yeah, and that's nice. One thing about that is, so someone who encounters that, they're like, when it says like type this in to get an Apache server, you can say like, I don't know what Apache server is before I type this in. Can you just explain this to me, and it will walk you through it.
Yes. And then I think Codex also added something called Codex automation, where it can basically generate more automated things that can run on a regular basis. So if you were to do like you want to schedule something that checks your folders every now and then, or run code check, or it can update code on the fly weekly if that's what you want, or branch it on a regular basis. You can run that automation and schedule that to run weekly, daily, or however. So if
frequently. Doing a lot of stuff that a developer would do.
Right.
Okay. And when I was at the NAAIC conference last week, there was a presentation from ChatGPT, from OpenAI, about Codex. And the gentleman presenting was like, just so you know, AI did a lot of the code base for Codex. So like, even though Codex is software, AI programmed that software. And it's the first time we've had like that level of success.
Yeah, that was really interesting, because it said basically like it can automate bug fixes and refactoring. So it can, on a regular basis, you can say like, all right, every other day, I want you to go through the code that's created. And so you could have an automated, I don't want to call it agent, but a Codex automation that checks code that you use, that you're creating on another. Like
it's like another employee. You could be like, oh, okay, Dave, like here's what I want you to do every Monday morning. Do this and go through it and make sure that things are running smoothly, refactor the code and make sure, like, run these new tests.
Yes. So it was really interesting. I think that this is a great tool for anybody who's interested in, like, what you did. There was this idea and you wanted to quickly develop it, and you were able to just develop it using this tool. And ChatGPT does it too, but this is more geared toward the code itself.
The difference is usually when I program in ChatGPT or like Claude or Gemini, if you're just doing one page, that's fine. You can copy and paste that. But if you're doing 10 pages, you definitely want to be using Codex. If you have a whole
because you're linking files.
And it can look across all those files at the same time.
Yes. So the other thing I wanted to talk about was we touched on it last time. I downloaded Atlas.
And remind me what Atlas was.
So this is basically OpenAI's web browser.
So it's a browser.
It's a web browser. And I was under the impression, and this was interesting, if you go back to the episode, I thought that it would be able to log you into systems and do things for you automatically, like automated.
Yeah, and, that's the dream, isn't it?
That is the dream, but it was not. That it doesn't do that. So it's not. It's not allowed to log into systems like that and automate stuff. But so I was trying to and I don't know if I explained this right, but I was trying to get a difference between, okay, well then what's the difference between, let's say, Atlas and just a GPT prompt, right? The ChatGPT prompt.
Yeah, if it's not a browser, what is it? What's it doing?
Right. So it is a browser, and the difference is rather than having let's say Chrome open and then having ChatGPT open, and then I find something on the web page and then I copy and I paste that into the chat and I ask it questions, or I find something and I put the URL into the chat. It's all integrated. So when I'm on a site, I have a tab on the left. I can just quickly say, hey, look through the site. Tell me the summary of whatever I want for that site. See. And it'll scan the whole site, and I don't need to leave the browser.
So it just makes it, you're not copying, you're not pasting, you're not losing things. It's all, it has the intelligence for whatever web pages are open or whatever tabs you have open.
Correct.
Okay.
And that was the other use cases. Technically, I could be on Target, looking at like TVs. I could go to Best Buy, look at TVs, Walmart, look at TVs, and all three tabs could be open, and I'm just trying to find the best price. Well, rather than me doing that, I could just simply in the right say it recognizes all the tabs that are open, and I can say, please find me 85-inch or OLED TV.
Are you really looking for an 85-inch TV?
No, I'm not.
Okay.
Does anyone want to get that for me?
Yeah. I don't think we should get one for the pod.
Yes, right here somewhere. We should get two. I don't know if we could open the door. But so it could do that comparison, and it could give you the summary based on the tabs that are open. So it makes it a little bit more fluid as far as working with it.
Yeah, so it's like seamless integration of AI browsing experience. So it's not going to click buttons for you necessarily, but it will make kind of parsing and assimilating all that information a little bit easier for you.
Yes, and it's all integrated, so I'm not leaving the browser and going to another app and then going back to the browser.
I could see the value in that. That seems nice.
Yeah, so I felt like I was like, okay, that's interesting. It's not as overbearing as I thought, as far as like, oh my gosh, it's going to take over this or do that. So
it's very subtle.
Yeah.
Okay.
Very subtle.
That's low, no barrier.
Yeah.
So Atlas is their web browser, which makes browsing easier. Codex is their coding platform that makes coding easier.
Yep. And then I figured I was exploring GPTs.
And that's like the custom GPTs, like custom chatbots?
Yeah. So first of all, this was a experience in its own. First, you need a Plus to create your own.
And that's like $20 a month, right?
Yeah. Okay. You need at least a Plus account. And then ironically, this is where the download app versus online app comes in. I had the app downloaded and I said, okay, I want to create a GPT. And I said, yep, just click on Explorer and click Create. And I went there and there was no Create button. I'm like, there's no Create button. And then it said, oh, you don't have the Plus version. I go, nope, I have the Plus version. And it said, oh, well, you got to go online to create. And I was like, oh.
So you need that web app, baby. Got to have the web app. Well, it's hard to maintain the code base for a web app for the PC version, for the Android version, for the iOS version, for the Mac OS version. So that's another reason why the web apps are better, because you only have one code base.
Yes. And so, so I finally got there, and there's a bunch of GPTs that already exist. So you can.
So these are like custom bots that people have made.
Yeah, and there's a bunch of different ones from like video AI, Scholar GPT image generator.
And I made one a few weeks ago that was basically, and it's not hard to make one. Like I don't want to seem, when I say the word program, it's not hard to program. You just like give it instructions in plain English. But I made one where I could upload an image and would spit out the alt text because I wanted to make that for like our push for accessibility at the college.
Right.
It was easy to do, and then it was easy to deploy.
Right. And so the way you should think for people who are, it's something that is a task that you might do multiple times, rather than having to give the same instruction over and over and over to the chat GPT. You could create a custom GPT and tell it, these are the instructions you want to happen. And then every time you open that, you can now just say, like for you, Dave, I assume now you could just upload your image. You don't have to give any prompt, and then it'll just give you the alt text automatically. There's no, because you already set up what you want it to do. And
it's also great for reports. So say the Department of Planning is going out and they have to do inspections all the time. You know, you can program the bot to ask it like the 8 questions with the responses and then they plug in the responses, and then it format, like you upload a sample and we'll format the report for you. So I think using it for repetitive tasks is a great way to use it. And if you're listening to this and you're like, that sounds a little complicated, just try making your own bot. And so right now we're talking about ChatGPT and the custom GPTs, but that also exists in Gemini. They're called gems, and we'll talk about that a little bit next week. But
yes, and so I created one for our podcast, and so now what I can do is when we have a topic that's coming up like if we're going to do Claude next week, I'll be able to put that topic in, and it will kind of give us a breakdown based on the information that I put in there, and give us suggestions. And now that's something that we could just keep reusing. And it's cool because it's something that you can make public or that you can share. So like I shared a link with you. So technically you could do the same thing and get the same information.
And one of the nice things, the difference between this and a chat is, and I might be wrong on this, but I think I'm right at least for ChatGPT, that it doesn't really retain the memory. It's meant to be a tool that does the same thing, but not be swayed and persuaded by previous chats that you've had with it.
Right. It still remembers the chats, but it doesn't take that into account unless you copy and move it into, it's called its knowledge base.
Okay.
So you can move it into its knowledge base, and then once it's there, then that's what it pulls from.
So if I wrote a chat GPT, or if I made a chat GPT that was like, I'm going to give you a topic and I want you to make a haiku, then say the first time I use it, I do say, write a haiku about yoga. The second time I do it, I'm like, write a haiku about Legos. I'm not going to get a haiku about like Legos with a yoga flair.
Correct.
Okay.
Right. Unless you copy and paste it and keep adding to it. And that's, I think, really interesting because you can really build out these GPTs because as you find things, you can add it to the knowledge base. As you get artifacts, you can upload that knowledge base, and it can be different types of files, Word documents or whatever artifacts, images, and it will when you get the custom chat, it'll be specific to that. So, like ours analyzes to transcripts and looks for retention leaks. It rewrites the titles for maybe more increased downloads, so it gives us suggestions for titles. And then it can talk about how it can find short clips that we could cut up to make social media posts. So it was enlightening to me to see how automated we could make some of this stuff.
Why do we even do this? Let's just have AI do it.
I know. We could get 11 labs to do the audio.
I do like that. So like you and I and Jeff, we could go through the videos and like find the like kind of cool things that we want to put in YouTube shorts or whatever. But like this can do it and do it faster and probably better than we could.
Yeah, because it's interesting because it can do analysis on what is being talked about and then compare it to what is trending or what is relevant.
Oh my gosh, that's cool.
It can like, and especially if you're like, I want to target this specific demographic, it can even break out sections for those demographics.
I didn't even think about that because I'm not really big on social media, so I don't have Instagram, I don't have TikTok or anything like that. Although I do have YouTube Shorts, but I have no idea what's trending. So you're telling me that we could upload, say, this episode and say, hey, look at what's trending right now. If Paul and Dave talk about anything that's trending, then this is the slice we want to put in the social media.
Yeah, it will.
Oh my gosh,
it will give us the slice based on the transcript.
And this is $20 a month. You need to pay $20 a month to get this feature.
Yeah,
that's worth
right. If you're to create your own GPT.
Yeah, and you can create as many as you want, right?
Yep.
So this.
Well, I assume so. I only created one. So.
Okay. So you can create at least one, and I have 4 or 5 in mind. So I know that you can do at least 4 or 5. So this is. I mean, if you're out there looking to be like, well, I have $20 a month that I could spend on some type of marketing budget. Like this is worth its weight in gold.
Yeah, I think that this would be worth exploring because, or even if it's not marketing, even if it's like a task. I was thinking about doing our. Advising, we can just upload our course sheets. We can and courses, and technically you could put information in there, and it would spit back. Obviously, you have to be careful. This is where it's like you don't how much of a person's information do you want in there, because I don't know if these are trained. That's what I'm not sure about, if they're trained on your custom GPTs. Yeah.
We will have to dig into that and find out. Although maybe that's a use of like agential AI, like that might be worth the investment to, like, if we're looking for like a course advisor or something like that.
You're right. So, that's interesting.
Yeah. Before we land this plane, is there anything else you want to talk to us about with OpenAI?
I think the only thing we didn't talk about was Sora, but we talked about it previously. It's just their video generation model. And it's still available. You can still generate videos. I haven't played too much more with it since I've been exploring other things, but that's still in place. And I have my favorite with Flow because I feel like
that's the Google one.
The Google one, because I have more control over it.
Yeah.
And
but you have the experience too.
Yeah.
If I was sitting in front of Flow, I'm like, well, I don't know what I'm going to do with this.
Yeah. So I think that this is good for like maybe B-roll or something. I just don't know if you can do consistent characters yet with this, or any of the stuff that you could do with Flow. So, and again, I need to explore it again, because maybe there's some more things that they've added that since I've used it.
Yeah. And I'd like to give a ranking for OpenAI just in general. And this is just based on like my experience with their chat, with Codex. It's mid. I think it's fine. I think the strength of OpenAI is that they were first to market, and that was kind of, their moat is that no one else can touch us because we have all the users. And quite frankly, when Gemini their first attempt was called Bard, and remember, it was terrible. And people were like, I'm not going to switch. I'm not going to jump ship.
Yeah. And
so like the switching cost now is kind of high, which is why I think a lot of people still use ChatGPT, even though I don't believe it's the best frontier model out there. But you can export your chat conversation from OpenAI, and Google is rolling out import chat conversations. So if you are looking to switch to say Google or Claude, and I'm sure this will be kind of like a standard in the industry, the switching cost just got a lot cheaper.
Yeah. That's a great point, because if you're going to go from one to the other, you have a history with one.
Yeah.
And then now you don't have that.
Yeah. So if you've been using it since November of 22, you have like 3.5, 4 years of chats that you can now bring with you. And then that becomes part of whatever frontier model you're using in the future.
Oh, God, great point. Yeah, that's a really good point. I mean, it's the same thing with migrating data from one to another. Yeah, that's interesting, because something that if you just started getting into it, you don't think about. But because it's there, it would be great to be able to export it.
Yeah. So I gave ChatGPT a rating of mid. What's your rating? And you can parse it down in different sectors like Codex and so on.
Yeah, so I would say Atlas was interesting. And you could do that in any platform, but I thought that it was interesting. I went to Marquise Brownlee.
Oh yeah, I can't get enough of his videos. YouTuber.
I went to his channel and I did while I was in Atlas, and I said, analyze this entire page with patterns, or what patterns do you see in titles, thumbnails, and upload cadence, summarize the channel's content strategy, and it gave me a really great breakdown of everything. And I was really impressed that I didn't have to leave the browser.
Yeah, so I'm looking at the notes that you took because you took screenshots, and it was like series branding, strong recurring series, dope tech, explained, first impressions, reviews. And MKBHD is a fantastic technology channel to follow. He's awesome.
Yeah, and I met him.
You did not.
It was right after COVID. My son and I were flying to one of his hockey events, and he was in the airport. He was masked, but
you could.
Yeah, we took a picture with him.
Oh my gosh!
We were on it was a weird trip. We were on a plane with another group of YouTubers that I wasn't familiar with. My son was.
Oh my gosh!
And then all of a sudden we got off the plane with them, and they were pretty rowdy. And then they saw Marquise, and they all ran over to Marquise and like, oh, we follow you all. And I was like, oh my gosh, Jack, that's Marquise. My son's name's Jack. But we ended up, I was like, come on, he's embarrassed of me, but I'm like, come on, we're going to get a photo with him.
Sweet.
So, so that was cool. But yeah, he's amazing. His channel is great. He does great reviews. Really good platform. Yeah. But anyway, my point with Atlas was that it gave me a pretty good summary, pretty seamless.
So you can do market research then with like Atlas. Like if you own a company and you're like, hey, here's my competitors, you go to them, you're like, what's their competitive advantage? What's their branding? Okay.
Yep. Cool. What could we do to, And
I see.
And again, you could do the same thing in a browser or in a regular chat. But this is just integrated, so it's seamless. So I think that I'm going to rate all of this as mid as well. I'm not, like the Codex was really good, but I've used Claude too, and that felt better.
Yeah. Okay. And so that's a good teaser for staying with the series because we still have Gemini and Claude at least to go through. I think ChatGPT is fine. They were first to market. They had some great potential there, but I think that they don't excel in any arena over the other competitors.
No, they did. Like their video model, that Sora model was amazing when it first came up, but then it just got trumped by, another model. And we can keep going through all the different models. But right now, what we could do is at the end, we can rank where we think they're at. Afterwards. But I'm going to say this is in the mid right now as well.
Okay.
As far as that goes.
It's mid.
Yes. All right. So that's all we have time for today. And again, we'll continue the series with the next podcast. And we'll have to figure out if it's going to be Claude or Gemini. What are we thinking?
It's going to be a surprise, folks.
All right. You got to stay tuned. My name is Paul Engin.
I'm Dave Ghidiu. And if you enjoyed the conversation today, please be sure to subscribe and like and subscribe and love so you never miss an episode. Let's be careful out there, folks.
And share it with a friend, a colleague. Until next time, stay curious, stay connected, and thanks for looking through the Immersive Lens with us.
This episode was engineered by at least Jeff Kidd and or Hugh Lairdie. I saw both of them in the booth.
Yes, they were both in and out. I don't know.
Team effort.
Yeah, I don't know who's still here.
And we'll never know.
Too early. Recorded at Finger Lakes Community College Podcast Studios located in beautiful Canandaigua, New York, in the heart of the Finger Lakes region, offering more than 55 degrees, certificates, micro-credentials, and workforce training programs.
Thank you to Public Relations and Communications Marketing and the FLX AI Hub.
Eager to delve into passion? Discover exciting and immersive opportunities at www.flcc.edu. Only 3 W's.
3 W's there. As part of our mission at FLCC, we are committed to making education accessible, innovative, and aligned with the needs of both students and employers.
The views expressed in this podcast are those of the host, guests, and do not necessarily reflect the official position of Finger Lakes Community College.
We should probably start off with that one. I think that's a pretty important one.
Yeah.
Music by Den from Pixabay.
This is the Immersive Lens. Oh, was that Hugh or was that Jeff?
It's like Sailor and Waldorf back there in the booth somewhere. Or Beavis and Butt. I have a question. Are those manufactured like digitally or are those like analog?
It's a soundboard.
Oh, okay. Do you have sad trombone in there? Because we could really use sad trombone. I heard a sad-ish trombone.